Good morning, students. Today we will discuss from the chapter 1, charge and electric field. The topics are electrostatics, the definition of charge, and Coulomb's law in scalar and vector form. So first we will start with the definition of electrostatics. Basically, it is a branch of physics which deals with the study of effect of charge when it is in the rest condition. That means charge must be in the rest condition. When the charge in motion, then there are different situations. When charge in motion, that means charge having the uniform motion, and the other situation is in this, the charge is in accelerating motion. In these two cases, the magnetic phenomena are generated, that means associated with the charge. So here we will only discuss the electrostatics when the charge in the rest condition. Now there are different industrial applications of the electrostatics. For example, in an electrostatic loudspeaker, and the second one is the Xerox copying machine, and the third one is in the designing of cathode rays tube, in the designing of television and radar. So there are many industrial applications of the electrostatics. Now our second term, charge, that plays very important role in the electrostatics. Now we will discuss about the charge. What is charge? It is an intrinsic property of material due to which one object can exert the force on the other. This is because of the charge. That means one body can attract the other body or repel the other body. So this is mainly due to the charge. So this is the basic properties of the matter, just like the mass. So we can define the charge that it is the intrinsic property or inherent property of material, and material is made up of with the electrons and protons. So due to these, the one body can attract the other body and repel the other body. As we know, there are two types of charge. One is positive charge and other is negative charge. These charges are nominated by the scientist Benjamin Franklin. These are conventionally nominated. So as we know that the charge on proton is plus E and charge on electron is minus E, where E stands for the electronic charge or the basic charge, and the value of this E equal to 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Here C stands for the coulomb. This is the SI unit of the charge. Okay. Now we will discuss the next topic, Coulomb's law. Students, there are the other unit of the charge in the CGS system. The one is in CGS electrostatic system, the unit of charge is ESU of charge. That means electrostatic unit of charge. This is also named as state coulomb, and it can be represented by state C. C stands for the coulomb or Franklin. As you know, 1 coulomb equal to 3 into 10 to the power 9 state coulomb. Okay. Now in CGS electromagnetic system, the unit of charge is EMU of charge. EMU of charge. This is also named as electromagnetic unit of charge, and this can be written as F coulomb, also known as F coulomb. So 10 coulomb equal to 1 EMU of the charge. As we know that there are two types of charge. The one is positive, and as you have seen, the electromagnetic system, the unit of charge is EMU of charge or F coulomb, and the 10 coulomb equal to 1 EMU of the charge. So we have seen the two different units in the CGS system. Now as we know that there are two kind of charge, the one is plus and another is minus, and we can say that the two similar charges repels each other and two dissimilar charges or unlike charges attract each other. This is the fundamental law of electrostatics. since we know that the charge is a scalar quantity because it adds algebraically. Now we will discuss the Coulomb's law. Now we will discuss the Coulomb's law. Actually, it is postulated by the scientist Charles Augustin Coulomb. According to Coulomb's law, the electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion between two stationary point charges is directly proportional to the product of magnitude of two charges, and this is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between two charges, and it is always along the line joining them. You can see on the board we have taken the 2 point charges Q1 and Q2, and the separation distance between two charges R. Now these two charges can apply the force of attraction or repulsion. If we have taken these two positive charges, now they will repel each other. So that is represented by force F and F. In Q1, apply the force on Q2 is F, and Q2 apply the force on Q1 is F. So this is a repelling force. So mathematical expression we can write F is directly proportional to product of magnitude of Q1 into Q2, or it can simply written as Q1 into Q2, and it is inversely proportional to the R square, that is 1 upon R square, and it is always along the line joining them. That means the force of interaction will always along the line joining them. So we can write F is proportional to Q1 into Q2 upon R square. If we replace this proportionality sign, then there is a constant of proportionality will be there. So F equal to constant K, Q1 into Q2 upon R square. Here K is named as electrostatic force constant. The value of K in SI system equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, and which gives the numerical value 9 into 10 to power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. Here the Newton epsilon naught is named as permittivity of the free space. The numerical value of this permittivity is 8.85 into 10 to power minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square. Okay, now we can discuss the vector form of the Coulomb's law. Now we will see the Coulomb's law in vector form. As we see in this figure, we have 2 point charges Q1 and Q2, and these have the position vectors R1 and R2 with respect to origin. Now we have to find the force on the charge Q2 due to charge Q1. That means we have to find this force on the charge Q2 due to Q1. So here we are required, that is, we have to know the unit vector in the direction of Q2 from the Q1. So we can write the Coulombian equation in the vector form F21 equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R square into unit vector R21 cap. This unit vector shows the direction from Q1 to Q2 because Q1 applied the force on Q2 in this direction, that is F21. Okay, now we will discuss the Coulomb's law in vector form. You can see on the board that we have taken 2 point charges Q1 and Q2 which have the position vector R1 and R2 with respect to origin. Now we want to force on the charge Q2 due to charge Q1. In the same way, we can find the charge force on the charge Q1 due to charge Q2. Here we have taken the position vector R1 and R2. Now this is required the position vector R21 which indicates from charge 1 to charge 2. So we can see according to Coulomb's law, F21 equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 into Q2 upon R square into unit vector R21 cap. This unit vector shows the direction from the charge Q1 to charge Q2. Now we can see the different form of this law. Now here the vector R21 equal to R2 minus R1. That means final position minus initial. So this is the final and this is the initial position if we want to find the force on the charge Q2 due to charge Q1. Now the magnitude of R21 is equal to mod of R2 minus R1, which is equal to the distance between these two charges, that is equal to R. Now R21 cap, this is the unit vector. So the unit vector is equal to the vector R21 upon mod of R21, which can be written as R2 minus R1 upon mod R2 minus R1. Now we can put these values in the first equation. So we can write F21 equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 into Q2 upon mod R2 minus R1Q into R2 minus R1. This is the angular form of the Coulombian force in the vector form. But the equation 1 represents the standard form, and this is applicable in any kind of numericals which can be solved with the help of vector form. Now in the same way, we can find the force on charge Q1 due to charge Q2. So we can write equation F12 equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 into Q2 upon R square into unit vector R12 cap. We can see the difference in equation 1 and equation number 3. There's only difference is the unit vector, which shows the R21 cap equal to minus R12. That means only different in the direction. So we can say that these two forces F12 and F21 are equal and opposite in nature. So we can write F21 equal to minus F21. That means this law proves the Newton's third law of motion. That means every action has equal and opposite reaction. Okay students, now we will discuss the next topic in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.